Hey guys, Steve Welch here, Beaman Toyota in Nashville. I wanted to come at you guys with something today that is actually pretty interesting, and it's a question that one of you guys were asking on the comment stream, and I appreciate those, by the way, because they do give me ideas for other videos. But the question is actually kind of concerning. So what they asked is they had a windshield replaced in their car, and actually the question didn't start with the windshield. The question started with I'm getting a lane departure alert malfunction, so an LDA malfunction, it said. And my immediate response was, it's actually it's exactly where I go, is did you recently have your windshield replaced? And the person said, well, yes, I did. All right. So, and I'm down at a new car here to kind of help you guys out with this, because this is very important to know. He said he had an aftermarket windshield replaced, and of course we've just kind of messaged back and forth a few times, but I asked him if they recalibrated the camera, and he said no. And I said, well, you need to take it to your dealership and have the camera recalibrated. So I'm gonna kind of tell you a little bit about what it is, and I'm going to tell you what concerns me about this particular person. So if you look on the center of the windshield here, you see right up here, all right, that right there is a camera. What that camera does is actually several things. So it watches for your lane departure. So if you have the lines on the road, it watches for the lines on the road, so that if you go over, so for your lane tracing in like 2.0 or 2.5, meaning that it can help you steer by seeing the line, seeing the car ahead of you, seeing the road edge. It's got all kinds of things that it watches for. In the older model, so meaning like around a 17 and above in most of the vehicles, it just watches for the lines to see if you're departing the lines. If you're departing the lines, it gives you a beep, 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 and puts you back in your line. That's your lane departure, lane tracing. It also has a millimeter wave radar that's right behind here. That's part of your pre-collision system, and that pre-collision system also uses that camera to watch for the closing distance to a vehicle in front of you. So if it has to activate, it kind of checks itself between the two before it would slam on the brakes to make sure that it's doing the right thing. It also, in 2.0 and 2.5, the road sign detection, that camera is used for road sign detection, so that it can see the signs on the side of the road: stop, yield, do not enter, and your speed limit signs is done through there as well. And then also your automatic high beams, which has been around for a while on some cars, even older than 2017, but it uses that camera to see if there's headlights or brake lights ahead of you. And if it sees headlights or brake lights, then it will actually dim your lights to low beam if it sees them. If it doesn't, you'll be on high beam, as long as you have it set that way. Now, of course, I'm showing you guys a Toyota. Realize that more and more cars, I don't really care what they are, more and more cars have these systems. All right, so they could be a little bit different. They could have extra things to them, and I'll show you some of the other cars I've got over here to kind of prove that to you here. But some of these cars have these systems, and most of them do. Now, you'll notice that most of them have a universal symbol, which is right here for your lane departure. This is dynamic cruise control in a Toyota, but they could be called different things, like a sensing cruise control, or a active cruise control. I mean, they can be called different things. Whatever they're called and whatever you're looking at, eyesight is in Subarus. They're whatever you have, it does the same thing, and at least it should. Some, and don't get me wrong, some are probably made better than others, but and you can look at all the testing on them to see which ones are. Toyota's the top one, by the way. That's my opinion, and plus some of the studies I've seen have shown that. So here's where I was concerned, by the way. He said when they replaced his glass, they went with an aftermarket glass. And then I said, did they recalibrate it? And he said, no, they removed the camera. If this is the camera that they removed and they took that off, you're going to have more problems than you probably want to know, because All of those safety systems that I'm talking about rely on seeing that camera. Now, that camera doesn't record anything. It's not anything along those lines. It doesn't have that issue, of course, but it watches for all of these things, guys. So realistically speaking, that camera is actually pretty important. There, like I said, there's not a recording. There's not, you know, I mean, there are some dash cams that you can have that would record, of course, but that's not what that is meant for. That camera is only looking. And, you know, if you look on, you know, pretty much anything, that one's a Highlander, check it out. This one's a RAV4 right here. You can see it's the same thing. So I always tell people too, when you get your insurance, make sure that when you do your insurance that you buy your glass coverage. And it didn't used to be a problem, because it used to, it at least used to be that if you had a glass breakage, that you would, you know, a couple $100, $200, $300, and you can get a new windshield. That's kind of not the case anymore, guys, because even with a new windshield, you still have to do the calibration. And I've seen some of these things cost well over $1,000, right? But look, we got a Honda here. So I'm still showing you the same thing, right? Honda, you have the camera up top, right? And if you go into the Honda, I'm just gonna pop this one open because I want to show you, you're gonna have similar, like I said, not everybody uses the exact same symbol, but they're going to be similar symbols, right? So if we kind of look in here, so here's your dynamic cruise control. I don't see where the other one is, but your lane, oh, there you are. Lane departure is right there. So it's a little bit different of a symbol, but you see how it's got the lane markings and that. So they're all going to have something that's going to be similar to look at. All right. The eyesight system on the Subaru actually looks a little bit different because you've got a couple of cameras usually, which if you look up here, you see everything's up top. You've got two cameras that are up top on there, so theirs works a little bit different. I'm not going to try to say that I know how every manufacturer works, or you know, what they all do, but or how they individually work, or what they all the features that they have, or what trim level. Here's another camera. This right here is on a Kia, guys. So realistically speaking, I'm not telling you anything wrong. I'm going to different cars just to kind of show you. So trucks have it too. Now on the Toyota trucks, it doesn't have anything to do with your steering system. It doesn't bump your steering system, but it watches the lanes. All right. So, you know, now if you get some of the older cars don't have it. You know, like that one I believe is a 2012 Highlander. That one doesn't have it. All right, so that one doesn't have the camera. You crack that windshield, you're still going to be, you know, on the lower side to fix it usually. And that one, oddly enough, is cracked. But you know, there's your CHR camera. Another CHR. It's got a camera. Don't know what year this is. This one's a little bit older as well, I believe. But it may or may not have it. Doesn't look like it does, so it's probably a little bit older. But like I said, my point is not wrong here, guys. So buy the policy or insurance, or at the dealership you can get it. Whatever you guys need to do to make sure, here's a Hyundai, by the way, another camera, of course. Whatever you need to make sure that your glass is covered, because it's going to be, and here's an Acura, it's got one, right? So it's going to be costly, actually more costly now to replace it, because it's not just a glass guy that comes out and replaces the windshield. All right, so don't let anybody monkey with the cameras. Make sure that when you put it back in, that the camera's in the right spot. Don't cover, that's something else, don't cover those cameras with tint. Don't do things like that. You know, don't think that they're recording you, so you want to put a cover over top of it. It's not recording anything, guys. That's not what it's made for. But make sure that no matter what you do with those, that if you get a little stone chip, I mean, we've all got those little chips, the little size of a pea or something like that chips on your windshield. Next thing you know, the thing's crossed all the way across your windshield. address it while it's that little P. It'll save you a bunch of time and money. So you know, you can always get those things filled, stuff like that. Don't wait until the temperature changes and you get that crack running all the way across the windshield, because it's gonna cost you guys money. It is gonna, I mean, it just is. If you hit something like I hit and it cracked right across the windshield, there was no choice. It was, you know, immediate, and that's how that happened. So be it. But just realize that it's not a fast process a lot of times, and it's not an easy process, because you have the windshield that that goes in, and then you're still gonna have the calibration. So kind of giving you the idea of what the calibration does. Whenever you look at these cars, glass is imperfect, and you need, if you look through different pieces of glass, which I'm sure you've done this before, if you think about it, if you look through different pieces of glass, the vision can actually look different through different pieces of glass. So and then you've always got these little black outlines that you can kind of see, like right here, those black outlines. If that's just a little bit different, you know, stuff like that, there's a reason that you have to calibrate these things. And if you don't, your safety systems will not work properly. So make sure that you don't skip that step. Don't let anybody disable or disconnect. I mean, guys, I'm really hoping that the person that I was talking to is wrong, and maybe there was a dash camera that was up there that got disconnected. But if you've disconnected the main camera for all of those safety systems, and it was on a, I think it was a newer one. I mean, I think it was like an 1819. But if you've disconnected that camera, you have caused, I mean, and he said removed was the exact word he said. So if you have done that, that is a problem. That is a very big problem. So don't let that happen. But definitely take care of yourself, guys. Make sure that you're as safe as you can be. These safety systems are there for a reason. Use them. Most of them can be shut off with a button if you really don't want to use them. But just realize, if you crack your glass, if you have that little stone chip, get it fixed quick. And realize it's not going to be as cheap as it used to. So Steve Welch with Beaman Toyota in downtown Nashville. Definitely let me know if you guys need anything at all. I'm more than happy to help you. If you guys want to buy a car, definitely come on down. We'll buy a car, or we'll help you buy a car. Definitely ask for me when you get here. I'm more than happy to help you guys out and to do everything that you guys need me to do. Have a good time, and make sure that you know about your car before you take it home. These cars are computers nowadays. There's so much that these cars do, and knowing about them is very, very important to make sure that, number one, you get the most out of it. You paid for it, you might as well get the most out of it. And then second, to also make sure that that you know how these systems work, the safety systems, the tones you're going to get, the things that are going to happen as you drive this car. So definitely let me know if I can help you guys at all. I'm more than happy to do that. Reach out to me here. You can always reach out to me too on my personal email, buyatoyotanashville@yahoo.com, buyatoyotanashville@yahoo.com. That gets directly to me. So if you guys have a question and I can help you, I'm more than happy to do that. Definitely like, subscribe. Appreciate every one of you guys. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.